Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Because it's time to write now.
Right now.
Right now. Welcome to the Right Now Community. You found yourself in a Monday update stream. I'm Kaufman, and today we're just going to keep it super casual. We're going to be talking about updates around the community and things that we're kind of focused and working on today. Welcome, welcome. Today's going to be a very super casual stream. Nothing crazy, nothing planned, and we're going to see what we have. No, just kidding. So we got some things that we're going to chat about. I'm going to pull up, let's see, give me just a second. So all the things that we're going to be chatting about today, we're going to talk about, I'm going to do some weekly updates for you. I'm going to hit you with some of our weekly updates. We're going to be touching on Discord for just a moment. We'll be touching on the Read Now Book Club, and then we'll be answering your questions for Faded Fantasy. Yes, we got a lot going on in the community right now. So, yeah, today is the vibe. Let's give you guys some updates. So, starting first off with our schedule for the week. What is this looking like? So, let me get the screen share going. Perfect. So as you guys can see, we have this is the week that we got going. So obviously today is our Monday update stream. We are going to see what things we're going to be going over today. We have our normal writing sprint streams and writers group throughout the week. And then this weekend, I'll be back with the story and critique show. If you need feedback on your work, today is the day. Today is the day, my friends. So if you need help with your story feedback, submit now. Linked down in the YouTube description down below. I always love the critique show. Literally at 200 stories now. Like, it's so crazy how much we've done. And then Sunday is going to be the Create Right Now podcast. We actually have a special episode. As I'm nearing the end of the Create Right Now podcast of the second season, we're going to be having a special episode talking about Lord of the Rings. I have invited a special guest who is a host and a host of a podcast about the Lord of the Rings. And we're going to be talking about what can we learn from the grandfather of fantasy, J.R.R. Tolkien. What can we learn from Tolkien's work? Can we learn to help you with the writing process? So that's going to be what we have queued up for our Sunday podcast. So this is the schedule for the week. We're keeping it very easy, nothing crazy for the week. And yeah, so that's kind of what I have planned this week. Now, I would love to hear from you guys. How are you guys feeling? How is the writing vibe treating you? I feel pretty good with what's been on my mind. I've been wanting to write a little bit more, but you know what? It's always got something going on. So nothing crazy, but always good stuff. Calvin, good to have you here in the stream. I see what you got going. You're like final edits. I was like, you and me both. I think I've been in revision mode for some time now. I was like, I feel like I'm not making as much progress as I want to, but I think it's more just because I'm busy than anything else. I'm like, I do wish that I could be doing a little bit more, but you know what? That is what happens when you're doing a lot. So it's been a pretty interesting month. I know we've had a lot going on. We've had, not only have we launched the Read Now Book Club, our second month, which we're going to be chatting about the book club in just a second. We also launched the official submission timeline for our Faded Fantasy Fiction competition. It has been so cool putting it together with all the other co-hosts, and hopefully we'll get to see some really fun stories. You guys still have some time. You still got a couple weeks. So I want to just do a quick shout out for our Discord. So before we get into our Discord, so I haven't done too many Discord updates in the past couple weeks. Sometimes I like to go back and forth and kind of see just how you are using the Discord. What are things that you really like about it? Now, when I look at the Discord itself, And I'll pull this up. So when I look at the Discord itself, I've added a new section. So I think something that I really wanted to prioritize was helping you guys to see and talk chat with our moderation team. So we have 3 mods on the channel right now. So obviously outside of myself, we have both Chatsoul and Courtney, who are both involved in helping us to moderate the writing community. So I have included a Meet Your Mods channel. I gave a little bit about myself, but you guys know about me. You don't want to hear about me. And this will be the place where we will have our stuff for Courtney and Soul. And then if there are any other mods in the future, for you to just learn a little bit more about who the mods are and ask questions, whether that's questions about the mods or moderation related questions if you need help with anything mod related. Now, when we think about the Discord, I am always so happy that that it is used in the volume that it is. And I have a huge thing. So over the month of this past month of April, the right now Discord has crossed officially 150 members, which is so cool. I literally I had never really used Discord before we started it with the community back in October. And it's been one of the coolest community building tools for us to be able to connect with each other and kind of like check in and have conversations. And the amount that it's used day by day by day is so incredible. I wouldn't have expected it. Hey, what's up, Tiara? Welcome, my friend. So I have been really amazed at just how much the community enjoys using the Discord itself. And I can tell that the most popular channels, the things that people really like in the community, really like using, is our writers chat. Our writers chat and our general chat is very popular to use. I know a lot of you writers, you probably like to take a break from work, from when you're taking a break from writing, and kind of just come hang out with the other writers. And now the second most popular channel in the Discord is our meme chat. And why am I not surprised by this? Because who doesn't love a good writing meme? I know this is the one channel I can almost expect to wake up to with a new writing meme that really usually cracks me up. I'm like, yes, writing vibe. I full-heartedly agree. So I think the meme chat has been very popular. Now, when I look at some of the other functions, I'm going to be doing some cleaning up of some of these other minor channels in the week today, actually. So I'm going to be doing some Discord channel cleanup. Now, this is what I want to hear from you guys. What do you want to see in the Discord? Are there things that you want to see in the Discord? Are there channels that you want to see, or is there a way that you want to interact? Do you want the Discord to be more interactive? Less interactive? Do you want there to be resources? What types of things would give you more value? We're going to actually be coming back with the mod team next week, hopefully, if we can get it on the schedule. And we'll be talking through what the next stage of the Discord channel looks like as it helps support the WriteNow community. So we would love your feedback. We would love to hear, what do you want from Discord? Or what have you seen in other Discord servers that makes it really cool? So definitely would love your thoughts. Hey, what's up, dragons? Welcome back to the stream. And Adrian, chilling in the community over here, still getting used to this new keyboard. You know what? New writing tools is always a plus. Always so much fun when we have new writing stuff to play with. I was like, I'm already ready to get my next round of pens. Pens and notebooks. I'm like, that's definitely time for me. Dragons. You're like, I hate feeling so drained of energy that I can't write. Well, I'm so sorry to hear that, my friend. I think when we're dealing with so many things in life, it can make it challenging to really find that enthusiasm and motivation. But you know what? Sometimes you're just going to be a little too drained. And I think the great thing, dragons, is you can still always just come hang out, even if you're need to maybe take a writing break. I was like, maybe you just need to take a writing break because you're so busy. I always recommend at least be intentional, right? So you're like, maybe I need to take a break for 1 week and I will check back in on this date and see if I have the right energy to be able to tell your stories. So that way you just don't stop writing for years, right? Because the one thing I don't want you to do is to stop writing forever. Adrian, that's an interesting suggestion. So Adrian threw up a really interesting one. You're like one set, one suggestion: Sprintbot for the Discord. We can use one for writing and another for reading in the Read Now book club. So that is actually a really, really good recommendation. We actually do have a sprint bot for the Discord, which is super cool. So for those of you who are just wanting to sprint, we actually have a sprint bot in the, I want to say it's the writing sprint channel. You can actually do it in any channel, but we generally see the sprint bot used in the writing sprint channel. I've kind of looked at it and I see some writers have used it over time. I haven't seen as much activity with it over the past couple weeks. I'm going to probably do like a check-in, adjust, and see, is the sprint bot easy to use and do people like it? So, but that is a great call out, and especially being able to use it for reading as well is a good shout out. I definitely agree with that. Oh, Tiara, like taking a little bit of break. Well, it sounds like you've been really busy, my friend. It sounds like you've been really busy. So sometimes you got to focus on life, right? Yeah. So you're like, oh, I looked and didn't see it. Yeah, and it's like I think it's one of those ones, Adrian, where you have to do a backslash and it opens up the commands when you're in that channel. And it opens up the sprint bot. But once again, I don't have a lot of experience in Discord outside of what we've done with the community in the past year. So whenever writers come up with really cool ideas, I usually end up having to research and be like, okay, well, what else can we do? I'm sure there's actually probably really cool things in the Discord that I don't even I don't even know. So I think on that note, so definitely keep the comments coming. We will or if things come from the community that you want to see, drop them in the Discord. Let us know. That'd be super, super cool. All right. So on that note, I need to write more. Hey, what's up, Neil? Team Romantasy, we need shirts. You know what we do need? We actually need super cool emojis for the Discord. That is something that's been on my to-do list. Does anyone like creating emojis? That is one thing I know we need for the Discord. So that's been on my T to be created list. Okay, so on that note, we're going to change the conversation. As always, I wanted to bring Discord to the front as we're kind of thinking through what that next phase of the Discord looks like. So, on to the next ticket that we want to chat about. So, as all of you know, we officially launched our community event. Now, we have a couple different types of events, and I think when I look at all the different things that the Right Now channel does and the Right Now community does. So if I drop myself, y'all are used to seeing this screen behind me, right? You guys know the different types of variety, the different types of streams we do. I like to break up the stream type that we do into three categories. We have our weekly streams, which is the things that you see with like the story and critique show and the podcast. We have our community event streams, which the Right Now Writers group is going to be moved into a community event because it's different than what you guys see with the podcast or the critique show, but it's not like a major writing event. And then, of course, we have our major writing events, which is the Right Now-a-thon, the fiction contest, and all of the other things we have coming up in the community. So when we're thinking about our community writing event category, we have had a lot of fun with the Read Now book club, and we're learning a lot. But it is going to be impossible for me to have this conversation without my wonderful other co-hosts who are helping bring the Read Now book club to life. So without further ado, let me please welcome to the stage Courtney and Adrian. Welcome, 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 my friends.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
How so I know so I was probably rambling or talking about dragons or something. But
Rambling? You? No.
Never.
Never.
Dragons are an important subject, especially in this community.
you're like, all right, as long as somebody's talking about dragons or scarecrows. I feel
Right?
like I can just like imagine myself from like the really old like Charlie Brown videos of like I start talking, and then all the people will hear will be like, dragons, scarecrows, wah 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 right now, wah 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 wah.
Yeah.
Need a new sound, but yeah.
I
Or
crack my
the pew 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 pew.
the pew, wah pew 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 pew. Yep, Courtney nailed it.
Yeah.
So I wanted to bring you guys on, and I know we were chatting just before the stream about the book club. I wanted to bring this up to everyone in the community as we're kind of thinking, what is the book club? What does it feel like? And what are we kind of thinking as we're looking towards the future of the book club? So, for anyone who missed out, we just had our awesome author discussion, our live discussion for Adrian's book. Adrian, thank you again for letting us use your book last month for the discussion.
No, thank you guys for reading it. Thank you for discussing it. That was fun. I had a great time.
Seeing, so Adrian, something I'm curious about. So, seeing how the book club felt for you from the author perspective, how did it feel? Do you feel like you were able to get value out of it as an author that like we had chosen your book through popular vote?
Yeah. If I'm honest, I was as a panelist on the same book club, I was
Mhm,
hoping for more reader engagement in the Discord. I wanted to know
mhm,
more about like what the readers were experiencing as they were reading,
mhm,
what their thoughts were, what their reactions were,
mhm,
theories, questions, things like that.
mhm,
So I hope that we are able to do more of that in the future for other upcoming authors.
mhm,
But that being said, I think I was able to get a lot of value out of this experience, particularly the discussion that you guys had, and being in the chat for that was a lot of fun, and being able to kind of chime in and throw in my 2 cents, and you guys were sort of doing your thing, but at least the people in the chat were catching the strays as I was throwing them up, which was kind of nice. Um, but yeah, no, I got a lot of value out of
mhm,
it, and I'm in the midst of an edit on that novel for
mhm.
a new edition, and uh, and all of that was very very helpful for the edit. Absolutely.
Awesome. So, and I think that hits on something that we're kind of thinking through. So, this is what I pose to you, the live stream community, whether you're watching on the live stream right now or you're watching this on the replay. What what do you want to see out of the book club? If you're reading for a book, whether you're reading in your genre because it's your month, or maybe you're choosing to read outside of your genre to grow yourself as a writer, what types of things do you want to see? Do you want to see more of us talking about the book? Do you want to see more of us talking with the author of the book? Do you guys want to see more engagement or more like discussion amongst yourselves? We would love to hear and we want your feedback because we're asking ourselves, how can we continue to help leverage the book club as a book club for writers? So, as I know that's something that's been on my mind. Yeah. What I'd love
Yeah.
to hear what do you guys want to see out of the book club?
I just wanted, I like when we created the book club, we were like, it's, a group of writers
Mm-hmm,
reading books by other indie authors. Like it's
mm-hmm,
writers for writers by writers. Like I want to
mm-hmm,
see more writers like communicating. Like I
mm-hmm,
don't I don't read sci-fi. Loved Adrian's book. Saw a lot of elements of his book that I can learn and grow from and
mm-hmm,
become a better contemporary romance writer.
mm-hmm,
I learned things from the paranormal fantasy book from ML that I can expand in my own work, not steal because that's not what I'm talking about, but like just
mm-hmm,
expand like elements of character growth or world
mm-hmm.
building or things like that that I can just look at and have evidence of like, hey, like you did this so great. I love how you did this. Like let me learn how to do it in your way and then tweak it and
Mm-hmm.
make it my own.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's a good call out because where I'm asking myself if I'm reading a book, how am I going to improve my own writing?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I I do that with my own, pleasure writing. I mean, reading rather. I've recently dived into the Brandon Sanderson of Cosmere, and
Hmm.
I'm 3 books deep into the Stormlight archive. And after
Is
reading
it
the
is
first
it as
book,
good as everyone's made it out to
it's
be? Is it pretty
it's
good?
fantastic. It's
Ooh, all
phenomenal.
right.
It's phenomenal. He's not a flawless author. He has his things that people like, clash
Hmm.
with, and I get that. He has certain things about his style that I feel could be stronger. I feel like his
Hmm.
prose could be more flowery. It's a little, straightforward for my
Hmm.
taste, but his characters and his world building and his plots,
Just so strong.
the way he moves his plots like through each other, it's masterful. And
Hmm.
after the first Mistborn book, I
Hmm.
learned I learned a lot about how to create characters and kind of unfold their arcs. And after reading the first Stormlight book, I immediately restructured how I'm writing book two. Like now I have parts to the book the way he does parts, and I still have my point of view chapters, but
Hmm.
they switch from scene to scene the way that he
That's
does,
interesting.
and it's only because I learned from him that he writes these big giant novels by essentially writing 3 smaller ones that he then like puts together like a deck of cards. And it
Hmm.
blew my mind, and I restructured my, and it just fit perfectly, and I'm like, oh my god, I've been struggling with how to make this second novel flow, and now it's flowing beautifully. And so yes, we learn from the books that we read. We learn from these
Oh
other
yeah.
authors,
Yeah,
even if this.
I've done that same thing before, Adrian,
Yeah,
where I'm
yeah,
reading something and I'm learning from their style. I'm like, well, what are some things or something that I can take to my own process, my own
yeah, yeah,
methodology, and make it my own.
yeah,
Yeah, like
and you
I have
develop further.
authors. Sorry. I was gonna say I have authors that like when I'm struggling and stuck on a part, I'm like, okay, like Liam's gonna do this, but like how does he do this? Like how can I know how he's gonna do it. How do I word it? Like how do I word
Mhm.
it without it being too wordy, without it
Mhm.
being straight to the point that, I lose people. So then I'll, go pick up a Layla Roberts book and be like, okay, how
Mhm.
did you handle this similar but totally different character trait? Like how did you
Mhm.
handle it? Or, I go to, Kayla, Katie Oliver, Layla Roberts, Casey Rose. I just go to the authors that I admire. Like I love
Mhm.
their work, and I go, okay, well, how did you handle this? And
Yeah,
then you grow.
yeah, absolutely. In especially in this second novel, the one I'm writing now, um, there's 3 main characters, and so there's 3 major like arcs that I'm
Mhm.
writing through the book, right? And the thing with that I love to do is, and I was doing this before I read any Brandon Sanderson, but he does it too. Is that the genre is sort of the backdrop, so to speak. It's the world, it's the setting. So in my case, sci-fi fantasy. That's the world, that's the setting, but the plots all follow like all kinds of different genres. And so like one plot in the second book is this like alien first encounter, first contact kind of story. Another
Mhm.
one is, this escort kind of quest where you have to get this
Mhm.
person to this other place
Yep.
for a big reason. And so like there's all these, and so for each
Mhm.
of those I go to my favorite authors of those genres
Mhm.
and I read those books and I learn from those books just to
Mhm.
write the arc for this character. Like that's,
Mhm.
again, we're saying the same thing, but this is how we do it. So I agree with you guys that the book club should reflect this and
Mhm.
should incorporate this into the theme of the book club,
Mhm.
and I don't necessarily know what that looks like, but
Mhm.
that's
And
the goal.
and I think this is the beauty of the journey, right? So like,
Yeah, we got to figure.
while Well, and I think, like I said, with the categorization of the different things that we do in the Right Now community, I think when I launched the Right Now Writers Group, which everyone knows, like the Wednesday one, everyone shows up and it's an open invite to come chat on camera. I think everyone in the community knows like what to expect from Writers Group. And I think there's a lot of value, whether it's the same people, whether Chat Soul joins me for all 40 something meetings, or whether it's us and a collection of people, which I love. I think writers know what to expect. So I think we're in that stage where we're figuring out what is the book club going to look like, because we
Yeah.
want it to be a thing that you guys in the community get value out of. Like
Yeah.
we really do. And I do genuinely believe that there's a way to make a book club for writers that doesn't take a lot of time from the writing experience, but can still help with skill building.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, we got a
Okay.
light. I saw that light bulb. I saw the light bulb on his face. All right.
Used to light bulb
Okay.
today.
Okay, we were talking about before this stream, we
Mm-hmm.
were talking amongst ourselves about more engagement in the Discord
Mm-hmm.
throughout the month, and then a stream discussing the whole book, and then another stream with the author interview. This is what we're talking about right now. We're
Mm-hmm.
not married to it. This is just what we're. So, with that in mind, as we're reading and we're throwing things into the Discord, we should agree ahead of time the things that we are talking about as authors. So, world building, characters, dialogue, prose, pacing. These things that make up a book that
Mm-hmm.
readers don't think about, but authors do, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna we're gonna divide all of our talking points into these categories. We're gonna say what we're learning from the book, from each of these things, and in the cases where we find those areas lacking in the book,
Mm-hmm.
then
How we
we
can
should be
improve it.
sharing how we as an author, if it was my book, how I would improve it,
Mm-hmm.
and encourage the
Yeah,
same
I do like
discussion
that. Mm-hmm.
from the readers. How
Mm-hmm.
would you make this better, or what are you learning from this?
That
Mm-hmm.
almost
And
makes the Saturday critique show, and
It is, and I think
in
what's interesting about it is it's almost like it's a different side of it in a sense,
yeah,
and that's something that I love. And I
yeah,
think if there's a way for us to do, I think we have to think about how do we do it.
yeah,
But I completely agree. Whether that is like, okay, well, we all think about like, all right, we break it down to like the character development, what worked, how would we improve it, the world building, and so on and so forth. Or whether like, okay, well, let's say we each got a passage, right? We read the passage, we break it down, and we're like, okay, we treat it more like we do on the critique show, which is a way of doing it. Now, the only other side to it is when we're inviting authors into the community, then we're creating that expectation of like, okay, well, we're going to dissect your book, even though it's published. So you have to be aware of that. And I think that's something we always want to keep in mind as well, because any books that we choose are voted on by you, the community. And we
yeah.
also want to respect the authors. So I
No,
think we want to find that balance.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was just saying it was similar in the breakdown of what we're going to be touching on is similar to your Saturday critique show,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't
Which I
think,
love, which I
yeah,
think that similarity is probably what you, the live stream community, would probably find value out of.
yeah,
I think the difference that's going to help with your concern there, Kaufman, is if we're centering the majority of the discussion and these things that I'm referring to, like how would you improve it, et cetera,
Mm-hmm.
in the
yeah,
the discussion that we do as a panel on the live stream, that's us, like, hey, we're featuring this author, we're featuring his book, we're going to talk it out, we're going to, treat it the way that we have been so far, where it's more about the book and the author. In other words, the writing talk is in the
Mm-hmm.
Discord, and the
yeah,
reading talk is on the stream, which keeps the stream as a presentation type scenario for, the support of the author in this book, keeping the Discord, as the name suggests, as the discussion amongst authors and writers about
Mm-hmm.
the actual structure and writing of this thing, how it works, what doesn't work, what we're learning, what we would do differently.
Mm-hmm.
um, we could
and it
even
allows for more community members to have more of a say. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I
we
mean,
could
not
even
that they
have
don't have a say on the streams, but we get distracted talking to the people on the stage. We don't dismiss the comments, but we don't always touch on every comment for as long as, we might be able to in the Discord.
You know how every month we have a different genre, right?
Mm-hmm.
For that genre, for that month, we could have like a challenge for the book club readers members, where it's like, hey, this genre has this thing, this trope, this thing that makes it the genre, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
this is the thing that sets it apart from the other genres. This is the thing that we can learn from and adapt into our other books. So the challenge is a fan fiction or a
Mm-hmm.
flash fiction or some sort of
Mm-hmm.
original writing with this trope, either in the world of this book that we're
Mm-hmm.
reading or you know something else similar, whatever it is, but like this writing challenge for our
Mm-hmm.
writers, that like, hey, we're doing romance in May, so you know, the challenge is a romance themed, you know, flash fiction piece, and then we can even read that
Oh,
sucker
it's not a bad idea.
on the final stream. You know, it can be like have like a
They're using it as a way to give writers like a prompt in a sense, or another way to
yeah,
write. It's not a
and
bad
and
idea.
an incentive to read the book because they're going to learn something from it that they're going
Mm-hmm.
to apply to this challenge that
Mm-hmm.
we've given them. They're going
Mm-hmm.
to, you know, apply it to their writing, and they're going to exercise this new thing that they've learned in a piece. And then we can, you know, even talk about it and critique it
Mm-hmm.
or whatever you want to do, however you want to do that on the stream. But
I like that.
even
Yeah, but it's
the
not, but not a
author, the
required.
author, the author could give feedback on a piece.
I feel like that
Like,
could be more of like a fanfic, and but not
Yeah,
be
that's interesting.
a fanfic on the book that we read,
It's
yeah,
really
but it
interesting.
not be required. And if
Mhm.
you turn it in, then it can be read on stream.
yeah,
I
so
actually,
if it's a
that's a great
fanfic,
idea.
the author can read it and critique it.
That's
I
interesting.
like that. And then if
You
it's
know what,
otherwise, we just discuss it in the Discord.
Yeah.
Adrian? You know what's interesting when you said writing challenge? You know where my mind went to? My mind went to a book scavenger hunt.
Ooh.
Where we asked where the author, and I don't know why, because you were thinking like writing challenge, and I started thinking of a game, and then I was like, okay, well, if the author obviously knows their book, right? So if the author picked out like 3 to 5 things, like, all right, here are 3 to 5 things in the book that you really have to read to find like the scavenger hunt, and
Yeah.
then
No,
so
What,
if the
what
reader,
that
page
would be
is
the
it
cool.
reader
on? What did you think about it?
like if and for like okay what happens with this with X character at this time, tell us the page number or the thing and so on and so forth.
Yeah, but not just the page number. Like, tell us the page. What page is it on? What chapter is it in? What did you feel about it?
Mm-hmm.
How would, if you were writing the story, would
Mm-hmm.
you have wrote it that way, or would you have wrote it differently? Like, did you like the twist?
Mm-hmm. So that was just something that came to mind as well.
Yeah, that'd be great
um
too. I mean,
I like that.
I do feel like that we're asking like the community, like, give us your suggestions. If you like
Mm-hmm.
these suggestions, throw it out to
Mm-hmm.
us. Hit us in the
Mm-hmm.
Discord. Let us know. Like, we want to make the book club for the community. We
Mm-hmm.
need the community to let us know how we doing, what y'all want, stuff
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like that.
these are ideas that we're tossing out there
Mm-hmm.
right now, and we're kind of spitballing and rolling with
Mm-hmm.
it. But like Courtney says, like, you know, we want your thoughts. We want to know what you guys think of this stuff. Should we
Mm-hmm.
incorporate it or not? Because I like that. The scavenger hunt thing is cool because again,
And I like
the
yours
one
too. So we can do
And I like
different
both of
things.
them. I think both are
Yeah.
really cool.
yeah, and people can choose to participate in the ones that they like, and this is all
Yeah.
just hopefully encouragement to
Mm-hmm.
a read the book
Yeah.
and b learn from it and
Mm-hmm.
apply what you've learned into writing. Like that that sounds like a good book
Mm-hmm.
club by writers for writers. That's cool.
Yeah. And I
So
always know that after I do a contest with Kaufman of like doing a flash fiction, I get further along in my work, in
mm-hmm.
my stories. Like, it motivates me, like, gets me going again, like all those creative juices
Mm-hmm.
flowing, and like I can work harder on my pieces because I've
Yeah,
took the time
maybe
that it
what it
costs.
is it's a value proposition of that you will grow as a writer just by doing one flash fiction.
Yeah.
And I think there's so many different ways we could go about it. And so we pose this to you, the Right Now community. What do you want to see from the book club? Let us know. I specifically posed and framed this discussion very open because, like Adrian said, like Courtney said, we want your guys' feedback, and we haven't finalized anything. So we're going to be coming back next Monday. Hopefully, if we can coordinate schedules, and we'll come out with a more finalized decision on how we're going to
Maggie,
be treating the book club, the Read Now book club for May. Huh?
just saying hi to Maggie.
Aw. So we'll see. We'll make the decision. If you have more thoughts, drop it in the Read Now Book Club channel in the Discord, and we'll circle back. But we already know May is Romance Month, and we're
Yeah.
going to be reading Emma Bennett's book. What is it?
Her perfect
Her
hero.
Her Perfect Hero. Is it your perfect hero? Is it my perfect hero? I guess we're gonna find out because that's the book for next month. Now the first is on Thursday, so we're gonna start reading as the book club on Thursday regardless. But we'll come back on next Monday's update stream and we'll let you know how we're going to be treating um if how we're going to be approaching the book club maybe a little differently logistically for the month of May. So
Cool.
we'll
I've read one Emma Bennett book before. It was a
mhm.
little romance book called Her Sister's Daughter,
Mhm.
and it was cozy and lovely. So I think that we're in for something cozy and
And
lovely.
lovely. Well, I absolutely love that, my friends. And Adrian, Courtney, I just want to say thank you for joining me for our stream today. I need to move right along to everybody's favorite writing competition. So thank you guys for joining me.
Thanks
I'm
for
gonna head
having
out.
me. Bye, guys.
Thanks, man.
All right. So that was the book club. And we're going to be hopping right next into the Faded Fantasy Fiction competition. So I know you guys are so excited. I've seen so much enthusiasm in the community for everybody who wants to chat about the competition and what we have going on. So I'm going to use the stream. I'm going to use this part of the Faded Fantasy competition to answer and address your questions. Do you have any questions about the competition? Drop them in the chat. We've already pulled some questions and we're going to do a Q&A. But I can't do this alone. I cannot chat about Faded Fantasy without one of my fellow co-hosts and collaborators. Let me please welcome to the stage. Everyone knows them as Chat Soul. Welcome, my friend.
Hey guys.
Hello. So Soul, I know we did a big deep dive on Faded Fantasy last week. Especially because we've now launched these submissions. I know we're talking through bringing Mr. Crow to life, and
Yes.
guys, we have some more exciting announcements for Mr. Crow, but I can't actually talk about them quite yet. So in the weeks to come, I wish I could, but I want to make sure that we're finalized on all of our exciting announcements with our feathery friend. We'll say that our eccentric Mr. Crow. So very excited about that. So how are you feeling about the contest?
I think it's going to be awesome. I just submitted my story today, so
Woo!
I
So
meant to submit it sooner, but I had a format and everything. And well, I've been working with Crow to try to get him to listen to me, and I'm almost done. I'm almost done with them. So
were
next will
they
be the programming.
I'm curious because I know you weren't involved in this part of it. Did you what'd you think of the formatting requirements? Because we didn't have formatting requirements for Freaky Friday. For this one, we created very specific formatting requirements so that we can make it an easier experience for the judging to just make the entire process a little easier and smoother.
I think the formatting is really good. It took me a second to find it, but I think this because like my eyes are like skipping over it or something. But that's a me thing.
Mm.
But they were really easy to follow.
Didn't I
Actually,
add the
looking
form?
at them
Didn't I
was
add
really
them to the? I could have sworn I added them to the submission.
no. They are on no the
Yeah.
format isn't on the submission thing, but it is on the PDF.
I know it's on the PDF. Let's see, where's my favorite fantasy flash fiction? I might not have added it. That could be a me thing. Okay, so I need to add it. But thank you for that call out, Soul. Because I know it's on the competition packet, the competition info packet. I actually have also meant to also add it to the submission form. So writers don't have to go through the whole packet every time for all those requirements. Um, add it to my to-do list. So with that, so I know we've had some questions from those in the community about Faded Fantasy, just some like miscellaneous questions. If you have any questions that have come to mind, drop them in the chat. I know we've seen a number of questions in the Discord. Let me pull up a couple that have come up so far. Let me see. And we will, let's see, in the meantime, I will pull up a cool faded fantasy. What do we have here? So we have a bunch of random stuff. Let's go over our, pull up the timeline. Okay. So we'll do this. So we have the timeline here. So this is the time, or not the time. This is the rules that we have here. And then I know we also have our info packet, which I want to say this is the correct one.
Looks like
All right. So we
Yep.
also have the info packet here. Perfect. So, and I was like, can I, well, let me do this full screen, maybe. Full screen mode. Let's see. Nope. Maybe. I was like, I can't. It freezes on me. Sometimes it lets me do this. Let's see. Full screen. There we go. But oh yeah, it does. Perfect. Oh, look at that. Kaufman can figure out the technology. Wonderful. So we're going to go to our frequently asked questions. So here's some of our more popular frequently asked questions. When is the deadline to submit? Sunday, May 18th. So you guys still got 3 and some weeks, I think, right? I was like,
believe so.
yeah, 3/18. I was like, I think it's just over 3 weeks. I want to make sure.
Yep, just this is like it's like
so
3 weeks, 6 days.
Mm-hmm. And then Maddie, you have a great question. Like, has anyone asked about the word count yet? Great question. So the word count, I think I actually listed it. Did we list it?
It's 1,500 to 2,000 words. It is listed. It is listed in the packet, but not in the frequently asked questions.
I'm gonna add that to the frequently asked questions. I'm add word count to fact. So Maddie, it's a great question. So yes, like Chat Soul said, 1,500 to 2,000 is the word count. And that is the max word count, 1,500 to 2,000. I want to say I had it here in the contest guidelines. Where do we go? Story submission, date. I had it somewhere here. There's so many rules. Deadlines, formatting, number, word count, right here near the top. Yep. 1,500 to 2,000 word limit. Any submissions over 2,000 words will be automatically disqualified. So make sure that you're using your word count tools, that you don't go over that 2,000, because I'm sure we're going to have a few of you that are going to be at like 1,999. I'm sure there will be. So, so like, yeah, I pushed it. It's okay. Yeah. If it was me, I'd probably be pushing it too. So, yes, 1,500 to 2,000, Maddie. Great question. And then let's see, what are some other questions?
Actually, I do have a question, and I know other people are probably going to be curious of this too. Okay. Would the word count include the title? And I know for myself, I do have a couple words that I do provide a small pronunciation guide to. Would that count?
A good question. No. Okay. When and I haven't spoken about this with the other co-hosts, but I feel pretty good that the word count should include only the story itself. So it will not include the title, the formatting requirements. I feel like the word count is for the story. So the story from the first word of the story to the last word of the story. There is a reason that we have a word count, that you literally have to list the word count as part of this, as part of the formatting requirements.
I have to laugh at that so much.
Has anyone made a progress? Oh, this is so funny. Maddie, this is a great question. Has anyone made a progress bar for word counts yet? I need that. You know what? It sounds like we need something in the community. So when do we get the progress bar?
I can maybe try to make something. I'm trying to learn programming.
That'd be super cool. Or maybe we do something like in the Discord, and we'll like throw up like, hey, how many words are you at? Maybe we could do something like that, like some type of polling in the meantime. But Mama Maggie, this cracked me up so much. You're like, right now, Coffin, mine has turned into a Last Scarecrow fan fiction. How, like, I love this. I love this so much. But how, so, Mama Maggie, so back in Halloween, we had a bunch of submissions as well. And one of the semifinalists who made it into the competition, or who made it to the live stream, they also did a Scarecrow flash fiction. And it was such a great story. I was definitely biased. But it was a great story. And it got very close as a contender for winning. So back in Freaky Friday, I want to say the story was let's see if I can find it. The story was, and this was the flash fiction. Let me see if I can pull up the Lost Scarecrow. So the Lost Scarecrow, this was the one that was done in Freaky Friday. It was a spooky story. It was great. And it was so much fun. I was like, yes, if people want to write Scarecrow fan fictions, like more power to you. I love that. I think that's the coolest thing in the world. But Mama, you're going to have to be aware. Not only if you do Scarecrow fan fiction, Mr. Crow is going to be our host. So you're going to have to see, we'll see what Mr. Crow's thoughts are with the Scarecrow fan fiction. And I was like, Mr. Crow is not involved in the judging or the decision making, but he might try to tell you he is. So we don't know what to expect, but I'm definitely looking forward to that. Let's see. So did you ask a question?
I did not, but I will say for fan fiction, if anyone writes fan fiction about your work, that's like the highest honor.
Yeah, I was like, I feel so honored. I feel so honored anytime anybody does anything for Scarecrow. I'm like, if I can like give inspiration and somebody feels like inspired enough to like write some like cool story, that's like the most awesome thing ever. And once again, let me just reiterate for everybody, I am not judging. I'm not responsible for any of the I won't be responsible for any of the results that will lead to the whoever the winners are. So I have to put that out there. I'm specifically not doing that so that way I can support the writers in the community who need help with their stories. But I will be very thoroughly entertained by a Scarecrow fan fiction.
I think everyone's going to be.
Oh yeah, that's right. So you asked about word count. And so that's something I need to add word count to the fact. I need to add, does word count include a title? No. Include title. And that was a no. Word count is only the story itself from the first word to the last word. That's what the word count is referring to. Awesome. Yeah, Maddie, thanks for that. Man, you guys cracking me up. Okay, let's see. What else? What other questions do we have here for Faded Fantasy? So when is the competition? The Faded Fantasy competition is going to be the first weekend of January. Technically, January 1st is on a Sunday, so it's the first full weekend of January,
Do
which
you
is
mean June?
6th through 8th. It's not January. I said January. June. Okay, Faded Fantasy next year. It'll be back in 7 months. Oh man, will be the first weekend of June. So Faded Fantasy will be the first weekend of June. We'll kick it off on June 6th with some type of Discord party, and the competition itself will be Saturday, June 7th and Sunday, June 8th. Semifinalists will be notified on their stories before the competition goes live. So semifinalists will know what day their story is going to be read, and they will also be have an idea of what the framework is going to look like. So in case if the semifinalists are chosen to go and compete in the final write-off to be the finalists of the Faded Fantasy competition. I'm super excited about this. I don't actually have too much to talk about our finalist competition, but what I can share is the write-off is going to be a live competition. It's going to be a live writing challenge that's really going to put our 4 finalists to the test. Let me tell you, if you make it to the finalist category, this is going to be quite a fun experience. So it'll definitely be a lot of fun, my friends. That I promise. Let's see. Other questions. Will the author retain the right to reprint their story after the competition? Absolutely. Absolutely. The author will retain the right of their story the entire time. Essentially, the way it works out is right now, the WriteNow community is licensing the author's story to use throughout the competition and then to publish in the Faded Fantasy Anthology. Now, I'll be talking more about the anthology probably in the next couple weeks before the submission deadline ends, but we'll be talking more about the anthology soon. So I have nothing new to share about the anthology right now. And then are curse words allowed? Hell yes. So if you have curse words in it, more power to you. We're all adults here. And this leads to my next one. How spicy can the romance be? And I think this was such a great way of framing it. Let's see, make sure. How spicy can the romance be? Out of 5 chilies, keep it no higher than 3. No open door sex, scenes, or graphic content. Semi-finalist stories will be read on YouTube. Think PG-13. And that's specifically the reason, right? So it's like if you write a story that has a full-on like closed door or sex scene, oh no, that'd be open door, right? Full on open door sex scene. Then that would we would if it makes it to a semifinalist, we wouldn't be able to read it on the live stream, which would create a problem. So PG-13, my friends. Maybe if there's some of you are like, I really wanted to write the 5 chili pepper flash fiction, write that one and then repost it on the Discord under our spicy Discord channel, because I guarantee you we have a lot of love for spicy stories in this community. I know we do. So if you write the X-rated version of your flash fiction story, we will be able to find a spot for it. I promise you. So let's see. Are there any other formatting requirements? So I know, Sol, you spoke to this. I know you spoke to the formatting requirements. Let me touch on them because I know there's a good deal. So formatting requirements. You have to have a very specific type of file format. So, and it just comes down to naming. We just want to see that the way the file format is named is genre.title.document. So if I was turning in my story, mine would be fantasy. That's my genre. My story title would be Put a Dragon on Its Story. And then the .document is the .pdf. So genre, title, and then whatever the format is. The first page should be an optional cover image. We're actually encouraging authors this time around to bring a cover image with their work. The cover image can be AI generated or it can be stock footage. It's whatever you want. We just need you to clarify and define for us whether it is AI generated or it is not. And this is more for requirements on our end for any type of marketing and advertising do and stuff related with the anthology. We need to know whether stuff's AI generated. Either is fine. Like both options are good. And we also want to be able to share with any artwork that gets shown, whether it's AI generated or not. And because that's something that's very important to our writers and to a writing community. The second page is where your title, your genre, and your word count, and you're going to indicate whether it's a long or a short story. And then the fourth line, the story begins. So the second page is formatted in a way so that way the judges can look at it and then just start reading it. So we can make this an easy judging experience and we can get your guys' stories back to you sooner. All right.
I do want to ask a question about that because this is kind of what I had to do. Since I had 3 words that need pronunciation, I actually I believe I put it either under the genre and word count or under the fact that I indicated the long prompt. If people have words they have pronunciation guide for, should they put it someplace like that or where should they put it?
Oh, a pronunciation guide. Let me think. So if there is a pronunciation guide, that is a good question because I think there's 2 routes to go with the pronunciation guide. So I think either option 1, it's included as part of the document. And then option 2 is it's attached as a separate file.
I mean, I know these are short stories, so I wouldn't imagine there'd be like a huge guide for anyone.
Mhm.
But even if there's just one, well, good idea to know where to put it on the off chance.
Yeah, I totally get that. I think it should probably my gut tells me, and we'll confer with the other co-hosts, everybody else who's putting the Faded Fantasy together, but my gut tells me that it's either a separate document, like it's its own page, or it's at the end of the thing. And then I think we would just need to know that there is a pronunciation guide. The reason being is because we want to keep this format very, very simple and easy to read. Yeah. So that's a good question. We'll reconvene on that. But that's good. I didn't think about the possibility and the potentiality of a pronunciation guide because it's going to be important for our live reading experience. So it's definitely going to be important for our live readers for sure. All right. And then what else do we have? So that's our formatting. And then going back to our frequently asked questions. Let's see. We have how spicy are the formatting? When will you know if you're a semifinalist? You will receive a congratulatory email along with timeline of events and invitation to the Faded Fantasy competition. We will announce that date in the weeks to come. So we will announce the date in the weeks to come. Okay. And then does choosing the long or short prompt change the word count? No. The word count is the same regardless of the prompt. The prompt is to give you a direction and what type of story you're really going to be crafting, right? But you do have to use one of the prompts. So you are required to use one of the prompts. It just one is a little bit more thematically based and one is a little bit more direct in a sense. How will the semifinalists compete? Only 4 finalists will be competing live in the live stream event, and they will be competing in the write-off, which is the writing challenge. More to come, my friends. And who is hosting the Faded Fantasy competition? The eccentric Mr. Crow. I was like, I don't think I can do the call, but the eccentric Mr. Crow. So that will be, he has humbly agreed to help host all of this. Whew, so that was a mouthful. And then I saw a really good question. Actually, I'll just leave it here for now. So I see White Seer. Let me just leave it there. And then in the comments, let's see. Add that under the cover image. Oh yeah, Corn, I saw that you asked that as well for the you're probably asking about the pronunciation guide. So I'll confer with the judges and we'll get back to you guys. And we'll do whatever makes sense. White Seer, will all of this be on the Discord? Yes. This is a great question. And when you say all this on the Discord, maybe what we need to do is we need to just create I'll just create a frequently asked questions channel in part of the event category that's literally just for questions. And we can list all the questions. That might actually be a really good idea. So that way the questions don't get lost. But yes, so anybody who is not a Discord member, we post all announcements for the Faded Fantasy competition in the Discord. Post it on socials, or you can learn about it from the streams. I also throw it in our weekly email newsletter, The Art of Writing. And once again, like if you want updates to the WriteNow community, make sure you're subscribed to the Art of Writing newsletter, linked down in the YouTube description. So that's another great way to get news and updates about what's going on with the WriteNow community. Oh yeah, right now. I see what you're saying. Great. I only just finished my stream, so I missed first 45 minutes of this. Completely understandable, my friend. Well, I'm super happy you're able to join us. And I would say just watch the replay because we've gone over weekly updates, the book club, and now we're touching on Faded Fantasy. So completely understandable. Oh, Courtney was asking about the AI generated. So I was asking about the AI generated for the cover. Should that be included on the page for the cover image? No. So there's actually a spot in the submission form for you to indicate to us whether it was AI generated or not. Because it's not necessary for the judging experience. It's more necessary for the marketing side of it and what we're doing with the anthology. So great question, Courtney. Great question. It's one of the questions on the submission form asks you if your artwork is AI generated or not. Good question. Let's see. And then I know we had a couple other questions you guys asked in the Discord. So I know we had one question, Nil. With romantasy, has audience expectation shifted? Will it be hard to be competitive with judging in this genre if it's not strong physical tension? Can it end with the characters realizing they should be together and implied it will be happy ever after, but not seeing further in the relationship? Interesting. Will it be hard to be competitive with judging this genre? It's not strong physical tension. So, no, this is a great question. And I think this is part of the challenge to you guys. So this is part of the challenge to you guys. If romantasy is a subgenre that you can absolutely write in, I'll pull ourselves up here. So romanticy is a category that you can absolutely write in, but we've very specifically broken it up into the two main genres. So you're either going to be submitting your story as a fantasy genre or as a romance genre. And the reason being is because you're going to be competing in the fantasy genre against fantasy tropes, like more world building esque, more magic systems. And whereas romance, you're going to be competing against romance tropes, where romance is a little bit more relationship building and the romance aspect of it. And the tropes are a little different for each one. So I think I know romanticy as its own very strong subgenre. You'll be able to list the story as this is the main genre and the subgenre is romanticy. We'll actually have something fun for romanticy during the live stream itself, but it will not be connected to the judging. So it won't be connected to the points system and it won't be connected to any prizes. But we will have something fun for romanticy, I promise you guys. So great question, Nil. I would consider, if you're going to be doing romanticy, lean more heavily either in the fantasy side or the romance side and ask yourself, which other stories do you want to compete against? Do you feel like it would compete more against relationship stuff or more against magic? And that's just me breaking it down to bare bones. So great question. I hope that answers it. And then Courtney also asked, how vague can the map be? Like, does it need to be a road or world map, or can it be other types of maps? It can be a physical or a metaphorical map. So it doesn't have to be a physical one, but it does have to be clear it's a map. If you write a story and you don't tell us that there's a map, or the characters don't realize it's a map, and you're like, oh, but they use this like a map, that wouldn't count because the reader has to know that it's some type of map. Now, if the characters go through a journey and they're like, okay, this is a map, or I use this map to find the waiter heart. All right, we've now used a metaphorical map. So I think that should clarify that. It can be, but it does have to be clear if it is not a physical item. Great question. And then we had another question. Are we allowed to help each other like critiquing? And the answer is yes. You guys can absolutely help each other. We actually want to encourage everyone helping each other with critiquing because this is a writing community and we all grow together. If not only that, part of the judging criteria is based on readability, which means that we're wanting your stories to be free of typos, spelling errors. We want it to be edited. And a free way to be able to do that is getting feedback from others. We know a lot of you are competing against each other, but a lot of you are going to be competing with each other. You're going to be keeping in mind that more of the fantasy is competing against fantasy and romance is competing against romance. So I think that's something very important to keep in mind. Yeah. I was like, I think you guys should definitely be supporting each other. So completely agreed on that. And let's see, I think we had another one. Let's see. White's here. Like, mine's both. LL going fantasy. Yeah. So I was like, that's because we thought about it for a while. We thought about doing romanticy as a third genre, but we just didn't have the we wanted to start with two full genres for this one and see how it went. So great question. Maddie, what if the romantic tension is completely between me and my keyboard? Well, you know what, my friend? Then it sounds like your story is going to have some sparks.
That'll be interesting to read, I got to admit.
What's the story called? Sparks. It's going to be like a fourth person, like wall breaking of a writer writing a story, and it becomes like a love relationship with the writer and their keyboard. I can see the story now, Maddie. 5 with the spice keyboard. They're just going to be like a spice key on the keyboard, like the mysterious keyboard.
Why can I picture that?
Oh my god, I know. I see another story coming. This is funny. Let's see. So White's here. This is actually a great question. You're like, as I am across the pond, what times will you be doing the live stream? So just so you guys know, our weekend live streams do tend to be a little earlier in the day. We will be we haven't decided an exact time of the live streams themselves. We will be letting you guys know what times as we get a little bit closer. So, but we are going to try to make it accessible for those who are in the US market and those who are in our international outside of the US as well. So we do try to put them at a time. Generally, those weekend streams tend to be a little earlier in the afternoon, but we'll keep you guys updated as we get closer what the exact times are. Great question. That is another question. Times, you guys are asking some really good questions, by the way. You guys are asking some great questions. Wait, free of typos? Oh my god, I've been adding extra typos then. Oh man, you guys crack me up so much. Great question. So Courtney asked, what about the searching? Can that be in like finding a purpose, or does it need to be physically searching for short prompt? So this is a great question. And I want to say searching, let me pull up our grading criteria. So, all right. So searching, it's under our submission guidelines. Let me pull this up here. So under our submission guidelines, this is part of our prompt. So part of our theme for the short prompt is blend 3 different story elements. A map is an item, fear is an emotion, and searching is an action. So when I think about searching, there has to be the action of searching. However you want to go about that, you can do it in whatever way you want. And now Courtney's question is specifically about the searching. Can that be like finding a purpose, or does it need to be physically searching? My question I will ask to you, is it an action? Can the reader, and like this is what I would say, Courtney, by the end of the story, can the reader say the action of searching happened in the story? And can the judge say, can I point to a place where the character's action was searching for it? And I think because I'm sure some writers are going to try to be clever with searching, the question is will it be obvious to a judge? And I think that's what it is. Like if it's subtextual, I think if I'm going to try to do something clever with searching and I'm not going to make it on the nose, I would try to find a way myself that it's still referred to somehow. So I don't like chance getting dock points. I'm like, okay, well, I don't know if it's like a gray area of like, oh, is that searching? Is that not searching? If somebody's like in their room and they can't find their locket in their nightstand and they're searching everywhere, I think that's a little obvious that's searching. I think if a character is standing in the middle of a battlefield and they're trying to figure out the meaning of their life and everyone's dying around them, and then the writer's like, okay, well, yeah, technically they were searching for the answer. That's not really as clear. So I would say that remember that searching is an action. And we have to make that action as obvious as possible. I think with the map as an item, I think that's a little bit more debatable, which is why we've said it could be a physical or metaphorical. So great question, Courtney. I hope I answered that for you. All right. Awesome, my friends. So thank you guys all for that. I wanted to make sure that we held space to be able to talk about as many questions for Faded Fantasy as possible. Yep. And I think, Courtney, I think that's a great strategy, right? And once again, if you guys are getting feedback from each other, then that's a question you guys can ask each other, right? Of like, okay, is the prompt clear? I think that would be a great question when getting feedback from others. So on that note, so I think that's all we got for Faded Fantasy this week. I kind of just wanted to do a Q&A.
Okay.
Awesome, everyone. Thanks for joining us for another Monday update stream. We'll continue to hold space for our Monday update streams, which will probably be talking about the weekly updates. Next week, we'll hopefully be doing something that's a little bit more impactful around our Discord experience. We also have the book club, Faded Fantasy, and much, much more. So on that note, that's all that we got for you. If you have questions about any of it, Discord, book club, Faded Fantasy, drop it in the Discord, let us know, and we'll address them on future streams. I'll be back tomorrow for another daily writing sprint stream. Let's see. Tomorrow I'll be later in the day, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. Come join us for another daily writing sprint stream. And that's what I got. Obviously, Crow already wants to be involved. All right. So thanks for joining me this week.
Yep, definitely.
All right, friends. We'll catch you guys on the next stream. Take care.
Right now.
Right
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Because it's time to write now.